everyone and welcome back. My name is Aarzoo Shah. For everyone who's come on this series for the first time, my story began about being insecure, being fearful in my teenage years. More than all of that, I remember being someone who was always bounded by this thought about what others were thinking about me. Because my behavior was decided by the society and the way the society expected me to behave. When I looked around, I found most of the women going through similar issues, and how the way they behaved, the kind of choices they made in their life was quite decided by the way society expected them to behave. I asked myself, was this the end? But I knew that wasn't the end, because on the other side, there were stories of women who had done unconventional things in their life, who were extremely courageous and brave, and who had not let society decide what they do in their life. So I started looking for answers. I started reaching out to these kind of women. And on that, I started this video series that's called I'm Beautiful From Within. In this video series, there are these kind of women that will come out, sit here, and share with you how they deal with everything that you and me deal with. But the difference lies in the way they deal with these things. It's that part, because see, here's the thing. We are all going to be facing similar kind of issues in life, because life is never fair. But what makes that difference between these women is that power of choice, that you always have that power of choice with you to decide what you will do in your life. Our last interview featured Anita Hasnandani Reddy. She spoke about how inner beauty was much more important for her than anything else. She was in a field, and she is today in a field where there's so much lights, camera and glamour, and yet for her, her inner beauty reflects much more than anything else in the world. She spoke about how when she started her career as an actress, things were difficult for her, because any journey in life is difficult. But the way she dealt with them, knowing that she had to give 100 auditions every single day, she still worked hard, and today she has got what she wants in her life. She has dealt with failures like every one of us deals with, but those failures do not stop you, because it's okay to make mistakes till you're learning from your mistakes. Our today's interview is with a woman who's extremely courageous and brave. She's one of those women who've gone out there and broken the stereotypes that society sets for us, deciding what women can and cannot do. She happens to be India's fastest women racer. She's a pilot with leading airlines out there. She recently gave a TEDx talk. What I love about her TEDx talk is she spoke this one thing out there, that women should not look out for a profession that has place for them. They should choose a profession that they like and make place for themselves. Let's hear it from the lady herself. It's Sneha Sharma. Sneha, thank you for joining us. Sneha, now when you're here, my first question to you is, how did you decide to become a racer first? Now that's a male-dominated field completely. How did you decide to become a racer?
The best part of my journey is I never decided to become a racer. I think I always followed my passion. Every desire that I've had in my life, I've tried my best to follow it. I heard there's something called go-karting in town, and I was always an odd child in the sense I never liked doing regular things. Not much with Barbie dolls, not much with sitting in cafes or watching movies with friends. I was always exploring. So when I heard there's something called go-karting in town, I went and tried my hand at it. The moment I sat in the car, I felt one with it, and I clocked the fastest lap time of the day, and then my journey never stopped.
That's how it started, just deciding to go for a go-karting, and then it went on and it went on.
On and on, yeah. So it wasn't very easy, because I went and I spent all my free time there, all my pocket money on Sundays, which was my holiday, and I wanted to do it professionally. I had no family backing, I had no guidance. But I never gave up. I made friends with the mechanics. They were my first coach. So my first coach was actually a mechanic at Marshall. So I would sit and talk with him for hours, and then I gathered some fee that I would pay him from my lunch money, my breakfast money, and then I gave it to him. And then I started learning basic techniques like cornering techniques, steering techniques, and even braking techniques. And I would go every day and push my limit and get the fastest lap time. Further on, I started participating in a lot of races organized by various companies, and I used to win against a lot of experienced drivers who were also driving in the national championship. In one such race by Times of India, my performance was quite good, and I got a podium finish, and I got approached by the national team that you should go ahead and try the nationals. And many of us don't know that karting is the basics of all Formula 1 drivers today. And that's what I started to, even though I'm driving for Formula 4 today at the Buddhist International Circuit, which is a Formula 1 circuit in India. So that's how it started, and it was quite difficult. I was a 12th standard student in science. I had already started my pilot studies. I had multiple loans, and I'm from a very basic background. I knew I have to settle down, and I have to take care of myself, and support my family also one day. Yeah. So I never compromised my studies, because I know that if you don't fulfill your duties, you don't really get success. I used to carry my books on track. I have studied under lamp lights, on buses, trains, etc. And thereon.
This was my next question to you. How do you balance being a pilot and a racer at the same time? How does the balance come?
Yeah, I think when you really want something, you make time for it. People make a lot of excuses. Ki, oh, I don't have time.
Yes.
Things like that.
I've been through that. So now when I was studying, now I'm continuing studying and I'm continuing doing this. My first thing that came to me was that I have an elder brother. I went to him and I said, दोनों नहीं हो पाएगा यार, कुछ एक ही करना है. And he said, no, now, if you really want something, you go after it and you do it. When I see you, I have been through a space when I wanted to study and I felt that मेरे से नहीं हो पाएगा. Now you being a woman and a racer, you must have had this thought in your mind at least at some point in time that will I be able to do it?
Yeah, I think more than me having doubts, people were always sure to put doubts in me. I was told when I was, initially my family wasn't happy that I was racing because of course it's a very unconventional sport for a girl. I was studying, I had loans, I had to become a pilot, things like that. So I had to really convince them. There were times when I would hide my helmet outside my house, go jump a wall and go for my race, and right after that go to my college also. And somehow the sport is not supported in this country. So for the longest time I felt very guilty for racing. And slowly the guilt started going away, and I got a lot of support from of course my fans and also my family. Now they support me in every way they can. So yeah, there was initially I had to conquer my family, then I had to conquer my competitors because a lot of times, most often when I race, I'm the only girl on track. Like last year I won 5 races in Formula Junior Racing Series, and I was the only girl amongst 20 guys there, and which is fine. But a lot of times these boys didn't like losing to me. So after the race, would come and said really rude things to me. If I overtook them, they would come and say, "You don't know how to drive. Go back, learn. Your women don't belong here." Things like that. It looks like women driving, but I never let that get to me, and I always channeled that that hurt or that aggression into my performance and in the gym, and then I let my performance speak for myself.
How did you said you overcome that guilt that you had of becoming a racer or going into racing? How did you do that?
It was quite difficult, and I always tried doing other things. Nothing worked. They say you really love something, you always go back to it. So there were times when I didn't have the money to race. So I started working part-time. I've also done various jobs such as cleaning cars. I've loaded trucks. I've worked as a manager in my team so that I could subsidize driving costs. Quite often my competitors would be sleeping in their hotel rooms where I would be cleaning their cars and working on their cars. I don't take any shame in that. It was a conscious decision, and I'm glad that I worked hard for it so that now when I'm up here I can appreciate it compared to a lot of people who throw it away.
Do you still get that thought sometimes when you're going out for racing or you're going out to do something that I might not be able to do it if I go?
No. But there are always challenges in life. See, when I was racing, I was told I can't race. When I started, then I was told I cannot fly. Because there are a lot of unemployed pilots. I had taken major loans, and getting a job was difficult. And I was told by a lot of people. A lot of people also say, "Why are you investing money into a girl child?" There are the people who come ahead or people who surround you. But luckily, my family always believed in education and they pushed me. And I always wanted to become something, so I went for it. So I think it works out. Yeah.
Do you believe that your dad, being from Merchant Navy, has had that influence on you while growing up, that even I want to be someone who's strong, someone who leaves a mark, someone who does something in life? Do you think that upbringing had a lot of difference on you?
Yes, I think it did because I sailed a lot with my father. My father is Merchant Navy, as you said, and all my summer vacation would go on the ship. So we would travel around. I've seen the world quite a bit, and I've been to various countries. And more than that, I interacted a lot with the officers of the ship. I would spend time on the bridge, which is all the equipment area, and I've been known to be a very irritating and curious child. So I used to ask a lot of questions, and I think the curiosity really helped. And I got inspired by all the maps, the flags, the equipment, and that's where I thought I want to take it one step further and I want to fly planes.
When I listen to you, even that 2-minute conversation with you is so inspiring to go out and do something. I believe there's something that, we all have a conversation with ourselves in our mind. Like when you speak something, it comes out from your conversation that you've always had with yourself, that I was curious, I wanted to do it, I wanted to do this, I wanted to do that. Is your conversation with yourself always like this, always so enthusiastic, always looking forward to do something? When you talk to your own self, does this same conversation go out in your mind?
Actually, not always, because I think the best part about my journey has been that I've had to be my own coach, my own support, my own friend, and I yell at myself like really hard in my head. Like I'm not easy. The problem is we're very easy with ourselves. You know, oh my God, if I carry this, my hand will pain. Okay, no. I mean, I train myself. Whenever I see I have a difficulty, I go and do it so that I want to make myself so strong that I am quite independent. You know, because dependency, which brings a lot of vices in our life. We get dependent on, say, any drug or alcohol or smoking, things like that. I mean, I always choose to deal with my stress in a positive way. And another thing, you asked me about conversation with myself. So I never had many people encouraging me. So I took inspiration from a lot of quotes from famous authors like Mark Twain and then Albert Einstein and all these people. And I think that really helped.
Because, I've gone out interviewing women, I've gone out interviewing them. They are always soft on themselves. I've seen this. They always say that every time I meet a woman, she's always, more than men, she's more soft with herself. कि नहीं हो पाएगा, नहीं करते हैं, हाथ दुख जाएगा, मेरा ये हो जाएगा, मेरा वो हो जाएगा. You've had a lot of injuries throughout your journey. Every time you have an injury, you might feel like क्या कर रही हूँ मैं. लोग आके तो बोलते ही होंगे क्या कर रही है. What do you do that time? How do you push yourself harder that time?
Yeah, so I'll like to go one step back. You said a lot of people feel a way. I think the programming is wrong. When we're young, we're taught a lot of things. It's very important to go out in the world and unlearn a lot of things. And problem is people are raising their children as boys and girls. You should raise your child as an individual. I will always say I'm an individualist. More before a feminist, I'm an individualist. I choose to be an individual, and then I'd like to do all the other things. And injuries, yes, people tell me. I have my weak moments. I'm very much human, and but then I think I'm really passionate about racing, so I always go back in the car seat. And for me, racing is my passion. There are other people, even education is a passion and a challenge for a lot of us because not everybody has the money to educate themselves and things like that. So I think we need to identify our passion, fulfill our responsibilities, and then chase it.
The way you deal with all the obstacles that you have gone through is very different than what others would do. Generally, kuch nahi hota hai, people give up. I tried to do something, I couldn't do it, I give up. I tried to again go and do something, didn't happen, then I'll give up. Third time, though, people will definitely give up. What you've spoken throughout is that you've had a lot of financial challenges as well throughout your journey. How did you manage them?
I think being positive really helps. Surrounding yourself with people who believe in you.
Yes.
And if they don't believe you, you make sure they do, because you sell yourself so hard. You make them understand, why I'm racing, why I'm flying, why I'm living my life a certain way. So that I think a person needs to be really hardworking, and hard work is not like I go to my job and work hard. I think hardworking and everything, I would always love to get up and make my own cup of coffee than somebody giving it to me. So it's small things, they say start small, go big, and that's what I always feel.
With women generally, it's the emotions that they can't control and that holds them back. You've had issues with your family when you started doing it. You must have got emotional about it. How do you handle when it comes to those emotional problems?
Yeah, it was been quite a difficult journey, honestly speaking. But emotions also, I trained myself with my emotions. I think emotions are quite a blessing. Women are usually called more emotional than men. It's not wrong.
It's a blessing to be more emotional.
It's a blessing, right? And a lot of times women are said, oh, you're too emotional. I'm like, I'm the one gifted with childbirth. I have to be emotional. So things like that, right? So I think if we turn all the insults into compliments, that's when we win.
Powering emotions becomes difficult sometimes. Like for me, as a child, the way I was raised, the way I had my surrounding around me, so I wasn't in the proper Bombay area. I was in Bhinder, and there people are more from the backward mentality. So you generally go out a little dressed up, even like this, dressed up, wearing a kurti, not wearing shorts, nothing. There'll be still 1,000 men staring at you, and that crushes you down at some point when people pass comments on you, people do this, that. Now, I had been completely raised like that initially, but then my family was always very supportive. Go out, explore more. So when I started exploring, I started changing. But for me, it became very hard to power my emotions. I'm very emotional as a person, and I always thought that was my weakness. Till recently, I discovered it was more of a strength that I could go out and I could understand people. For me, that came with a lot of introspection that I had with myself. Every time I felt something, every time I did something. Do you also introspect a lot with yourself?
Yes, that's very right what you said. Introspecting is important. Isolating yourself is important. Whenever I'm upset or angry or sad, I always lock myself in my room and think, listen to music, think. Because one thing I always choose to deal with my emotions myself. A lot of people get angry. They take it out on their friends, family, things like that. I always do it alone, and maybe I write in a book or I Google things or things like that. So that really helps.
Introspection with you comes with channeling. Is that what you find out ultimately as a solution? You said you channel your emotions really well. So, like if you're angry, would you just go to the gym?
Yeah, that's one thing. I would do it, but before that, I would have to process. Processing is very important. A lot of people these days are looking for forgetting their problems. I think that is the biggest. You keep capping it, and then it explodes like a pressure cooker, right? I don't take a stress, even this much of stress more than I can. Because I want to do less, but I want to do it really well. And I think that's what really defines.
So your powering of your emotions is processing what you...
Yeah, facing the truth. Like if you're your worst critic, there's nobody else who can really break you down.
Do you believe in that you don't react, you respond, so you take that gap between reacting and responding and you try to process whatever is happening with you and then you go out and you do it?
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Tell us like 3 things according to you that you could do to power your own emotions.
Explain power. What do you mean by power?
You have control over your own emotions. No one else is... The environment around you is not affecting your emotions, but you have control over them. Now if I'm sad, I have control over it. Yeah, okay, I understand I'm sad and I can still control myself. I won't burst out on someone, I won't start crying, I won't go into a room and just stay there for like days and just keep cursing myself over it. You have more control over your emotions than I think a lot of people do.
Thanks.
How do you do that? 3 things according to you that you would like to share to people.
Okay, 3 things. First is be honest with yourself. Go and identify a few people in your lives who you think are honest, not only people pleaser. Like we all like having friends who say, no, you're right. But have certain people who will tell you the truth. That is one. Second thing is that challenge yourself. Like I always challenge myself. Go face your problems. That helps. And third thing is keep moving. Having something very important in your life which you're very passionate about is very important, because so many times I've been upset, broken. I've gone through a lot of problems myself, like what all women go through, all human beings go through. But I always picked myself up and went for a bigger cause. Like sometimes I would go for my race, sometimes I would go for my flight. So having something to wake up to in the morning is very important. And no relationship or no, I don't know, like a superficial thing can give you that. I would suggest to all women that we make partnership the biggest goal in our life. Partnership is important, but first being able to live on your own is important, right? And having something to live for, because like your passion, your job, your education, charity, whatever it is.
One more thing. Now, making decisions. Now, for you, deciding to become a racer was a big decision in your life. That I want to do this now. A lot of people face struggle in deciding to go out and do something. You know that moment where you decide that no, now I'll do this. How do you do that? Now, that's scary for me sometimes when I decided to go out and do this. It was a decision that I was scared to take. But then, yeah, through a lot of processing, I made myself realize that if I never take a decision, I'll be in the same place. It's my comfort zone. I know I'm comfortable here. I know it's breaking your comfort when you go out and you do something, but deciding becomes a lot difficult sometimes. How do you decide when you have to do something?
That's very true. Like you said, being comfortable. I always say comfort is the biggest enemy to success. Success happens outside your comfort zone.
Yes.
And like you said, getting up and moving is important. What I do is I always look at the next immediate step. Yes, I get overwhelmed a lot. So many times, I have difficulty like sleeping when I'm really stressed. So what I do is like a lot of resources, breathing exercises, yoga, things like that. So what I do is I look at the next immediate step. Honestly, I didn't know I'll be India's fastest lady or national championship Formula 4 driver. I was driving the most basic commercial go-karts in Mumbai. So what really helps is to do your next step the best, because nobody's seen the future. But if you do your next step best, you will be headed in a good direction. So that's what advice I'll tell you. Okay, look at the bigger picture for like 5 minutes in your day where you want to go, and then focus all your energy on your next immediate step.
Last thing that I want to know from you is you're very confident, like very confident.
You think?
Yes. How does that confidence come from? Like what do you do to, what has happened in your life that's made you so confident now?
I think hard work. I know it sounds very cliche, like
No,
very
no, no, I
typical.
agree.
But I think when you work really hard, it comes from within. A lot of people fake it, like, oh
Yes.
no, I'm so cool and I have this, I got this. But no, what I think really comes from is you doing your own thing, and that really makes you confident. They say like the more you burn gold, the more brighter it becomes. The more struggles you go through, the more confident you become.
So it's clear now for all of us that there's nothing that you get without struggling. Everyone goes through a lot of challenges in their life, but it's the way you deal with your challenges that defines your ultimate goal, right?
That's very true. Very well said. Yes.
Yeah. One thing, when you said about confidence, you said that it comes from within. A lot of women out there have never focused on what they think about themselves from within. What you think about yourself from within reflects outside completely.
It could be, but honestly speaking, what reflects outside and what's inside is very different. So you need really smart people around you to identify what you come across as. Because inside, quite often, I feel I'm not doing well enough. Even I feel it, but I just keep doing what I'm supposed to do. And second thing I'll tell you is a lot of people don't like a confident woman. A lot of people don't like it. Like, if a man is confident, oh my god, he's like a Superman. But if a woman is confident, there's something wrong. Like,
She's so manly, yeah.
Bossy, manly would still be like, I would take it as a compliment. But because I've been across a lot. But she's bossy. There's also other words which I would not say on camera, but things like that,
You're not to women like when you're confident, right? That's not the way they define women. So if you're confident, you're not to women like. That's what I've heard from a lot of people, for women who are really confident and really doing something. So I met someone recently with a very, I don't know what mindset. So I was saying that I'm going to interview this IPS women that I want to. So not to women like, if you're doing an interview for women, you shouldn't interview IPS women. They don't define what femininity is.
Why not? Why do they not?
It's their mindset. Now that's not women like. Now you're a racer, so this is not women like again. This is something that's too much for men. Does that affect what you think about yourself ultimately when people come and tell you this?
Like what exactly would you say?
This is not you've told me yourself that this is a very male dominated profession, right?
Yeah.
So you being a racer is not to women like. Does that affect what you think, or did it initially affect and now it doesn't?
See, I have had a lot of struggles, and just one more point, I felt the first time I qualified an all-male event, and also I felt, oh yeah, you know what, I'm the only girl amongst them, and I was still waving at everybody. But I think the strong belief that I'm an individual before I'm a woman, that is what really taken me. Like, first I feel I am an individual, then I'm a woman, then I am a racer or a pilot, and then I am other things. That's how I always sequentialize things. So that really helps, I think.
What did it feel for the first time? This I really wanted to ask you, when you wore your uniform for a pilot for the first time.
For a pilot for the first time?
Was it very special? Because I've seen your pictures and I was like in awe when I saw them.
Oh, that's very nice. I mean, I'm glad it looks very attractive on the outside, but for us, we carry a lot of responsibility when we wear the uniform. The first time I wore my pilot's uniform was when I was going for my training flight, and during a training flight, you have a lot of stress on your mind because we have to study a lot. Like, a lot of people think pilots just fly the plane.
No.
But I'm sure you know, you're smart.
It's a lot of studying, I know.
Yeah, it's a lot of studying. So I just wanted to work really hard. It felt really good. And, to wear my epaulets, my badges, my wings, that's the most, hearted part of my uniform, my wings. So yeah, it was really special.
And how did you feel like when you won your first award?
First award? It felt good. It felt good to be recognized for what I did.
Yes.
But the amount of work you put together award, after that, you feel it's just a trophy, Like I always say, I drive for my passion. Yes. Awards come afterwards.
It's the byproduct.
It's a byproduct, exactly. And there are very few people in India who support motorsport, and women like JKTI is my sponsor. My employer Indigo also support me. So having said that, a lot of people don't support, there's a lot of change happening in our country, and I would like to say that too. So that more people should support the cause.
More people should recognize what women are doing out there. What people are doing out there.
Yes, exactly. There's so much more.
Today, what we've learned from today is that you need to push yourself not in the wrong direction, but always in the right direction. When you're passionate about something, go out and do it. Don't pamper yourself. Don't think, "Ye nahi ho payega, wo nahi ho payega." Be committed. Do it. Learn to channelize your emotions. Learn to power your own emotions. If someone comes and tells you this is not women like, talk about Sneha Sharma the next time and show them that she's done it, right? It's powerful. It's strong. and it's a lot inspiring. One last thing for everyone who's seen this, we need to recognize women who are going out there and making the difference. We need to encourage them. We need to encourage sports in India. Please stay committed, please share, and please support all the women out there who are making the difference. Thank you.
First thing is be independent in every way possible. Become strong emotionally and mentally. And third is be yourself. Beauty comes from within. I am beautiful from within.